to the farm. We have what looks to be one of our last nice days for at least a week. So I want to take as much advantage of this as I can. I have a number of big projects that need to get done, the garden being one of the biggest. But this wood has been sitting out here long enough. I need to get these flower beds built because I actually have the soil to fill them coming tomorrow. The only hang up on this is, as I was coming out to start working on this, I had a bad fall off the back steps. I have very loose ankles, and every once in a while they just decide they're done, they're not going to support me anymore, and over I go. And this one took me down 2 steps onto bluestone slate. So my right knee and ankle are a little wonky right now. So I'm not sure how much I'm actually going to get done, but if nothing else, I want to get started. So first thing we need to do, the sequence of events here, I need to get this area mowed so that when we go to suppress the grass, it doesn't have as much to draw on. Then I need to cut these longer 2x8s into 3-foot lengths, drill holes in the end of everything to screw it all together, and then screw it all together. And then theoretically, if there's enough time, we're going to put cardboard under it. We're going to put some rotted firewood on top of the cardboard, same as we did with the small gardens on the side of the house last fall. And I still have a ton of leaves, so we'll put that in, and it'll be all set for the soil to come tomorrow, and we can get them filled. Let's see how much of that we can knock out. Actually got more done than I thought I was going to. That's all the cutting done. So now I just need to drill holes in all the ends of these, well, in one end of each of these, and in one end of each of these, and screw it all together into boxes. But I'm out of time for right now, so let's get back to work, and we'll come back out this afternoon. components in place. This build is something I've done a lot. I had 10 beds built like this at my previous house, and it's very simple and it works with crappy materials. Whatever you've got, it works with. Unless you're going for an Instagram perfect garden, you don't have to worry about it. In fact, it's a really good trick. You can go to Home Depot. You can probably do this at Lowe's, but I've never tried it there. But I know Home Depot will do this. You can go to Home Depot, pick out the worst boards that they have. The twistiest, the cracked, whatever. And grab one of the clerks in the area and ask them if, because they're in such bad condition, if they'll mark them down for you. And I have never once not gotten a markdown. Once I got only like a 20% markdown. Usually they're marked off 50%. So it's a really cheap, effective way to get the materials you need to make these raised beds if you want to have actual built raised beds. And all you do is, the standard is 4x4. But I'm a little short, so I like to do 3 feet wide. So these are going to be 3 feet wide, which is the boards that I cut there, and 10 feet long, which are these other boards. And then I drill 3 or 4 holes at one end of each board. And then I'm going to screw the deck screws that I've got through those holes and into the base of the next board, the next side. That's called I believe that's called a butt joint, which is about the extent of my carpentry knowledge. But it's strong enough for what we're using it for that the 3 bolts are plenty to hold it in place. And I do that on each of the 4 corners, so it does end up being square enough. I wouldn't build a house this way, but for doing garden beds, it works perfectly. So I've got all my holes drilled. I've got all the boards in place, so now I just have to go through and screw them all together. one 4x10 foot garden bed. Now to do 3 more. So that's the boxes done, and Morgan is finishing up the first step of getting it ready for soil. So what we're doing is we're lining everything with cardboard, and that theoretically is going to help keep the grass down. Now that doesn't always work 100%. As you can see, the grass still got into this box. So I just need to clean it up really good and add some soil to all of these boxes. But for right now, we're worried about the new boxes because we'd rather play with new things than fix the old things. Oh, Morgan is getting my opinion on the coverage in one of these boxes. Yeah, that looks good. I mean, just these little gaps.
Yeah, there's
might be worth covering.
There's a bunch here, a couple over there. So
if we had any small boxes, they'd be worth throwing on top of that.
We don't even need small boxes.
One big box. So the next step for this, which I don't know if Morgan realizes is still on his docket tonight.
I know it is.
I have to go make dinner, so. I have a bunch of useless firewood out behind the run-in shed. So we're going to use this the same way we did in the new beds over by the pine tree. And just line the bottom, maybe 2 inches deep, with all that punky firewood. And then I'll come in tomorrow morning and put a thick coating of leaves on top of that. So then when the soil comes, I don't need quite as much of it. At least that's the theory. I have 30 or 40 bags of garden soil coming tomorrow. So then we'll get these filled and get on to the next project, because there's always another project. Tomorrow, the fruit trees are supposed to come, as is the rain. So we've got a race to get the fruit trees in before the rain comes. So I hope you'll come back and see if we manage it. The look he got.